Good morning, buenos dias to Cafecito Wednesdays with the GRHCC. Thank you for joining our webinar. Today, we are going to be discussing a variety of issues. So our agenda for today is new ways to use technology for your business, COVID-19 local legal updates. We're going to have a member spotlight of tuition tacos, and then we're going to have questions and answers at the end. To begin with, I would like to introduce our board member and CEO of Unico Media. He has been instrumental to our chamber as well as other organizations to help us continue business during these uncertain times. And with that, I would like to pass it off to Sal.
Good morning, everyone. Glad to be with you here today. Thank you for joining our Cafecito Wednesdays. We're excited to have you guys here joining our webinar. We're hoping to bring you value in these webinars and help your business grow in any way we can. So also just a housekeeping thing that I'll mention as well. If you have any questions, feel free to add them to the chat, actually to the Q&A box, so that we can have some interaction. We want to make these webinars interactive and also be able to entice our conversation, because sometimes some people ask some really good questions that allow us to really interact and dig deep. So let's go ahead and get going with this. So you want to move away from online premises, right? So the idea right now, with everything that we've seen with what's going on with the pandemic, it actually has forced us to utilize technology to the max. You know, I experienced a similar situation in 2008 with the big crash. I actually put all my business on the cloud. So I'm fortunate that I had already been doing this for so long, that our company was already on the cloud. And I became such a big proponent of it that we started offering some of these services to our clients with respect to technology. So I'll share some of the resources out there that you can leverage and that you can also use on your own. You know, you don't need to hire us or an IT guy. Some of the stuff you can probably do on your own, depending on the size of your company. Typically, what I tell small businesses is either you have time or money when you're running a small business. And if you don't have the money to hire someone, then you better have the time to be able to do it yourself and put that extra effort in to make sure that you're at par with your technology. So we'll talk a little bit about what's out there to help you achieve that, okay? So remote office equipment and hardware needed. So let's talk a little bit about these points here. So for example, internet. Obviously, Wi-Fi and internet is very important. It's actually gone down in price right now through this pandemic. I think Spectrum is offering some discounts. Most internet providers are offering discounts, but that is probably the most important part of your online presence and your online experience, is to make sure that you have good internet. The worst thing you want to do is have all this technology on the cloud and not be able to access it. So important that you're with a good internet provider. You have the right speed, right? 100 megs now is pretty much the standard up and down. So it's pretty good speed, and it'll be stable enough for you to be able to have all the different equipment that you're going to need, as well as the speed that you need while you're on the internet, right? Firewall routers, basically that's to protect hacking, right? Make sure you have an appropriate router to help you prevent people from coming in and accessing your equipment. Laptop or PC, my preference is laptop, right? Simply because it's so mobile. It allows you, in our office, with this pandemic, everybody's now working from home, and I always purchase laptops even at the office, because I felt it was flexible. You can move it around. We always have had monitors, a couple of monitors aside from the laptop, but laptop is always a really good option because it allows you to be mobile, right? It allows you to bring that with you. So that's important, to make sure you have good equipment. You can probably pick something up relatively inexpensive nowadays, right? So make sure you consider that. Cloud servers, this is for the bigger companies. A lot of bigger companies that have probably 5 or more employees, maybe 10 or more employees, that have a centralized location, have a server which is basically housed in their office, right? Nowadays, you can do the same exact thing, but on the cloud. So in reality, all you're really looking at doing is finding the infrastructure, making sure you have the correct infrastructure in your office or your place of business that supports the connectivity to the cloud, so that you can literally take your server away from your office. You don't have to worry about hardware. You don't have to worry about all that. And all you're really worried about is making sure that you have a proper backup, and there's solutions to that. So that's another way of utilizing technology, is just completely getting rid of the on-site servers and going cloud-based servers. Amazon is an example of a service provider that supports that. Microsoft, of course, we're big Microsoft fans, so we use that quite a bit. The other thing is obviously tools to connect, such as what we have here today, right? Zoom, WebEx, GoToMeeting, RingCentral are probably your top providers of the tools to connect, the software that you can use to connect, to have your meetings with your clients, with other members, to join this webinar, as a matter of fact. So important that you're leveraging the right technology for that as well. My personal choice would probably be RingCentral, just because I'm biased. I'm a reseller of RingCentral. But just to be fair, RingCentral has a great voice over IP phone system. With that said, technically RingCentral is a reseller of Zoom. So if you get RingCentral, you might lose a couple of bells and whistles that you get with Zoom, because they still want to stand out a little bit, even though they're resellers of them, like the virtual backgrounds, little things like that. But anyhow, won't get too far into that. So it's important to make sure that you have the proper connectivity tools to stay connected with your clients. Next, your VPN, virtual private networks. Again, that's more on the security side. It's a little high-level techie talk there, but your VPNs are what's going to help you stay protected, keep your data protected, right? Be cognizant of that, especially if you have employees working from home. That's your data. That's the company data, and so you want to make sure that it's properly secure. They can't just take it, or somebody can't just log in and download proprietary information from your customers, from your clients. So that you got to be careful with that as well. Telephone voice over IP. So most people nowadays know what voice over IP is, but for those who don't, voice over IP is basically your phone system on the cloud, right? So voice over IP allows you to literally take your phone with you from your office, bring it home, plug it in to internet, and you have your actual phone desk in your home. But voice over IP also allows you to have software that connects to your phone system that is on the cloud somewhere. Remember, I was talking about the servers on the cloud. So with that, you really become completely mobile, right? RingCentral actually has an application that you install on your phone. So when the phone rings to your office, it's actually ringing on your phone, and you can distinguish your personal from your business phone. And it's very cool because it allows you to, still look like a professional organization, not giving out your cell phone number. And, it helps me disconnect. I don't give my cell phone number out too much anymore. I typically just, even on my business card, that's just my office number, because it rings to my phone as well. It allows me to say, okay, it's 5 o'clock, I'm checking out. I don't need to be taking calls all night. So really cool things you can do with VoIP. Obviously a smartphone, I was going to say, I don't know anybody that doesn't have a smartphone, but I would be lying. My dad still uses the flip phone. So he doesn't want to move into this century. So next is headsets. Make sure you have the proper headsets. Nothing like bad connectivity when you're trying to be on a Zoom call, or even on your voice over IP phone system. Typically, they have different levels of those depending on what your budget is, but you can pick something up that's decent for about $100, $120. Best Buy is now, you can do pickup at Best Buy. So make sure you do a little bit of research on your headsets. Webcams as well. I'm a big proponent of webcams. I'm from the old school. My parents told me, whenever you're talking to someone, make sure you're looking them in the eyes. And that's what I like to do. I like to look at people when I'm talking to them. So I love cameras. I love to make sure that, I'm paying attention to them and they're paying attention to me. So I don't know, I like webcams. Next is printers, and the same thing with the webcams. Most laptops come with a webcam already installed, so it's not a big deal, and that's why I like laptops too. But if you have a actual PC, you can pick up a relatively inexpensive webcam, USB, and connect it to your computer and be up and running. And then finally, printers. Printers, they're still an evil that is needed. We're not completely obsolete. I print very little, right? But you can pick up a really decent, inexpensive printer nowadays that it's a multifunctional use. I happen to use HP. I'm an HP fan. For a couple $100, you can get a good printer that has a scanner and all that other stuff into it. But I would probably try to use some type of PDF scanner, PDF printer instead of using that. So that's your basic equipment that you're going to need from your remote office. So it's important that you take a look at that list and see, kind of do a check through what you have, what you don't have, what you need, what you can improve on, especially with this post-COVID environment that we're going to start getting into. I hope you continue to use the tools that you've been using right now, because when it happened to us, we switched and we've been on this train for a while and we love it. So I never stopped using it. So I'm excited to see, how many business owners are going to continue in this trend and continue to maximize the technology and use it to be more efficient with their time, increase revenues, obviously with efficiency. So we'll see what happens moving forward with that. So Memo, can we get to the next slide, please? Next. So I'm guilty of this. I'm sure a lot of you guys are, but make sure you don't burn your house while you're at home. Use the proper outlet connectivity. Don't put everything all under one, but at the very minimum, use the right proper power strip. But it'll be a little surge protector so you don't blow up your house, right? But try to split up your outlets. I know we're not used to doing that at home, and I actually looked at my stuff last time we had a presentation like this, and I fixed it already. So I was guilty of it as well. So make sure you don't overpower your outlets and put too much in one. Okay. A little interesting tip there. And also, this is kind of funny. This was a news broadcaster, right, that was working from home. This was before the pandemic, and just be cognizant around who's around you and so on, that they know you're going to be having an online meeting, so they know. At my house, I've been working from home for many years. This isn't new to me, so they pretty much already know that they hear me talking to the laptop. They know I'm probably in a meeting, so they won't interrupt me. I don't have little ones anymore, but maybe have a little on-air flag you can put up so people know you're on, or maybe just lock the door so they don't walk in your office with kids. Anyway, just be careful of that. And so just here's some tips of what you can use to do some online collaboration. So for Office 365, it is a great solution, right? It allows you to share all your documents out of one central hub, right? Outside collaborators, so you can share some of the documents as well. You have a OneDrive, Dropbox is very popular as well. But I like Office 365 because it also gives you all the applications that you may need. It's not that expensive, and it allows you to literally be on the cloud right away. You can also have online meetings through Teams, RingCentral, or Zoom, like we already talked about. Teams comes with Office 365. It also allows you to share your screen and have these video calls as part of their solution as well. So you kind of save, a couple of softwares there. And with all these different types of softwares that are out there, you want to try to be as efficient as possible, right? So Office 365 offers Cloud Office, works with smartphones, tablets, so you can literally carry it everywhere with you. You have Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Publisher, Outlook, emails, contacts, calendars, Teams, shared meetings, online OneDrive. So at the end of the day, it brings a lot of tools. Same thing with your email. my pet peeve of seeing clients that are using a Gmail or Yahoo account, you can actually connect your domain to your Office 365 account as a solution to your email and be marketing yourself instead of marketing another company, another huge vendor that doesn't need any of your help to market them, in my opinion. Market your own domain. So Office 365, a great solution that you guys might want to check out. So just a little tip here: your remote office in a box, right? Kind of get yourself COVID-19 ready. Very top, Office 365 is a collaboration tool. Have the right laptop, have the right equipment, have the right phone system so that you're able to do all of this. You can track, you can do a lot of things with your phone system to manage your efficiencies. And then at the left over here is make sure you have the correct antivirus, right? Depending obviously on what your infrastructure looks like, whether you just need a laptop or you actually need a server, that might change. And also the type of business that you are, right? If you're a company that is dealing with client social security numbers and all that, you really have to be way more cognizant of the antivirus and security stuff, right? So there's many ways we can help you. If you want to go to the next slide, we can help you with that. If not, there's a ton of online solutions that you can look for and find a way to continue to doing what you're doing, moving past the coronavirus pandemic. So that's all for me today. If you guys have any questions for me, feel free to ask on the chat box. If not, we'll see you at the end of the presentation.
Thank you so much, Sal. And I think that a lot of our businesses and community members appreciate having the ability to use technology during their business, and not just now, like you said, but moving forward as well. So thank you so much for that presentation.
Absolutely. No problem. Thank you.
And next we have one of our other board members, our co-treasurer, Brian Sagan. He's going to be giving us our COVID local legal updates.
Good morning, Inland Empire. So some updates this week. Has been a relatively calm week with some major decisions, but not a whole lot of decisions going on as far as coronavirus is concerned. So just to piggyback first on Sal's presentation, if you're using technology and you have your employees working from home, I've said this before, I'll say it again, make sure you're properly reimbursing them. California law requires that you reimburse your employees and could follow attorney's fees and everything else. You don't want to get into that situation. So if they're working from home, look into the sorts of expenses they're going to have. So they're going to be sharing part of the internet use. So you're going to need to pay for some of their internet fee, the use of their cell phone if they're using their cell phone for work, possibly use of a computer or utilities. And if they're driving, you definitely have to make sure you're reimbursing for mileage. Remember in California that the law says that if you as the employer have made a reasonable determination of an amount that seems reasonable to reimburse for those expenses, that will be deemed to be sufficient unless the employee can prove to you that their expenses are actually more, at which point then you have to pay them the higher amount. So I'll move on from that. Also make sure you're tracking time. So if your employees are working from home, make sure you've got some sort of method to track the time that they're working, if they're hourly employees, and make sure there's a log of that. As the employer, you bear the burden of keeping records of the hours that your employees work and whether they take meal and rest breaks. So make sure you have some method of doing that, whether it's through technology or if it's through just a manual time card that they have to submit to you, but make sure that there is something showing the hours that they actually worked, and then make sure you pay them to those hours. So moving on, I want to make a note that we will be offering a presentation on the new PPP forgiveness aspect. They've released the documentation necessary to do that. Remember, the PPP loan does not have a forgiveness portion unless you submit proof of your payroll expenses and utility expenses. So your loan will not be forgiven. We will be offering a presentation that will help you fill that portion out for when you need to get forgiveness on the portions of your PPP loan that applies to. So new changes. So we've got some new. I'm sorry, what's up?
Our website, correct, Brian? So you're going to be doing little like step-by-step presentation on a video on our website at www.grhcc.com. And I will be doing the presentation in Spanish. So we can do it in English and Spanish.
Perfect. So yeah, so follow our website for that. To our website, you'll see that. I would assume it'll be posted here in the next week or so. So some changes to the reopening requirements. So Governor Newsom backed off as we suspected he would do. He's reduced some of the requirements now. So in order now for a county to move into a further stage and reopen, they now have to show and attest that and certify that there's been no greater than 5% increase in COVID hospitalizations over the 7-day period. Less than 8% of residents test positive for COVID over the last 7-day period. Or they can show that over the last 14 days, there have not been more than 20 COVID hospitalizations on a single day. Or they can show that there's been fewer than 25 cases per 1,000 residents in the past 14 days. So this is good news. A lot of counties now have applied with their attestation, including Riverside County, in order to start to reopen and proceed into phase 3. So these requirements changed a lot of the previous requirements that were a little hard to meet, which was no COVID deaths in the last 2 weeks. That is no longer an issue. And then it was, you had to have fewer than 25 new cases per 10,000. That number has been moved to per 100,000. So making it a lot easier for counties to open up. Governor Newsom also hinted that phase 3 was on the horizon for the quote next couple of weeks. So in the next few weeks, we're looking at phase 3, which if you remember is sporting events without attendees. So as long as the arena isn't open to people to come, you can have your sporting events again. And then some bigger institutions will be able to open. Like I said, the County of Riverside provided its attestation for Governor Newsom to approve. And at that point, we will be entering what is called expanded phase 2. So phase 2 has been broken down into several parts. Expanded phase 2 will allow the operation of dine-in restaurants, of retail, of community centers, and schools. And the schools are going to be kind of a county basis thing. So I think everybody's excited about dine-in restaurants. I want to note one thing to be very clear. In the event that somehow during this week it's approved and dine-in restaurants open and you operate a dine-in restaurant, make sure that you're following the guidelines. I am right now posting a link for the restaurant guidelines that have to be complied with, that include things like taking customers' temperatures and social distancing. You have to keep your bar tops closed still, and then cleaning and disinfecting. So make sure those are being complied with in the event this happens. I know that there are some restaurants already jumping the gun and opening in Riverside. One I know for sure has opened this week. Still not legal, so be very careful about that. I also want to note that the Senate now has a bill pending, SB 939, which is going to put a moratorium on commercial evictions. So that would require also landlords to negotiate rent for repayment over a 12-month period for commercial. So right now in Riverside City, we're seeing commercial moratorium, but statewide, we have not seen this. This would be a statewide moratorium on rent for commercial businesses. Also, if you are a restaurant owner, look into the County of Riverside is offering what they call the Great Plates Delivered program, which provides meals for at-risk seniors. Each restaurant will be providing 3 meals per day for 7 days a week to senior citizens. They also have to deliver those. The restaurants are getting paid $66 per person per day for that. So it's a really good deal for the restaurants. It's currently being offered through June 10th. So take a look as soon as you can. I saw it looks like they're kind of more Hemet area right now is kind of where they're looking for. And I don't know if like downtown Riverside, that sort of area is still going on. But definitely look for that, apply for that. They have a website. And finally, Mount Rubidoux Park is scheduled to reopen on May 22nd. There's going to be some changes. People can only walk one way on Mount Rubidoux, and it's going to be reassessed whether it will continue to be open on June 16th. So just stay tuned on that. Enjoy Mount Rubidoux if you decide to go, but please follow the rules so that it can remain open for everybody. And that's all I have for now.
Thank you so much, Brian. And some of our business owners have questions about reopening. If they had questions and wanted to consult an attorney, where can they contact you as far as legalities, things to look out for?
I am putting my contact information in the chat box right now.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Brian. We really appreciate you. Okay, Memo, can I get the next slide? Next, we have Hector Rosales. He's the owner of Tuition Tacos. I'm very excited to introduce him and have him as our member spotlight. Hector has been a strong supporter of the GRHCC with our scholarship program and has been a strong supporter of our community in general. He does a lot of good work for our community, but specifically for our students. And with that, I'll pass it over to Hector.
Thank you, Carmen. Thank you, members of the Greater Riverside Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Appreciate the member spotlight. Obviously, you guys were talking about restaurant owners. I am one of them. We've been in business for 5 years now. We're typically one of the larger caterers. I think that still holds true. We're one of the larger caterers in the Inland Empire with 3 locations currently. We have a Chino, California location. We have a location in Anaheim. And here what you're seeing on the slide is our Riverside location, which we opened about 2 months ago. Right in the midst of COVID is when we were actually working with the members here, the board members, to have a grand opening event for our Riverside location. We completed the renovations, which was great. And right now what we're seeing is business is a little impacted in terms of walk-out or walk-in or take-out catering. We're about 60% down from that perspective. But our catering business is up actually about 200 or 300% more than we forecasted here in Riverside. And that's largely due to all the distribution hubs in the area. Like I said, we are one of the larger business caterers through what you would consider the catering platform equivalent of Amazon. So a lot of business catering happens through this online platform called Easy Cater. And if you Google Easy Cater and you Google Tuition Tacos, we're usually at the very top or the highest rated and most awarded caterer. And so that's how we partner typically here with Amazon, Compassionate Care Center. We delivered hundreds of meals on a weekly basis to the Riverside Community Hospital. So God has been good. It's his business, right? I'm just, everything we have or everything I have is borrowed. So I do understand that it's his. And right now, the only thing that we can control and what I've told our staff, we've retained most of our staff, thankfully. And what I've told our staff, the thing we can control is how hard we work. What kind of effort we put in. That's pretty much what we can control to try to meet our responsibilities ahead of us. And so obviously with so much going on, so much uncertainty, so much pain, I said, hey, if we, keep our head down, we have to really find ways to get creative. Obviously we were taco bar delivery. That's similar to a buffet. So COVID changed that very, very much. We were also a very large wedding caterer, which was buffet style. As you know, the soup plantation has actually closed forever. A lot of buffets are probably reevaluating closure permanently. And so what we decided to do is to innovate, right? So you have some images here. We were probably one of the first in the country, believe it or not, to offer boxed taco lunches. Never heard of it prior to COVID. Fantastic idea. I don't know why we weren't doing this before COVID. Because now you get away from I didn't get enough food for the buffet because Don Chulo ate 20 tacos, didn't leave any for the rest of us. So now you have you're able to open up a different market for taqueros like myself, where you can compete with sandwiches, right? Sandwiches is the King Kong of business catering. And now we've opened up a market because now, even pre-COVID, people were maybe hesitant to order a taco bar because the utensils, germs have been around forever. So now with this setup, business has been booming on the catering front just because it opened up a whole market for us. So that's kind of the stuff I was telling the staff is, settle down, control what we control, and, we can really work hard. Obviously, this takes a little bit longer time, but, it just goes back to our principle. If we're trying our best, and sometimes that's good enough for our clients. The last piece that we're kind of geeked out about is this is actually graduation season. This is, obviously we partner with the chamber here to provide scholarships in the fall. but actually a big part of our donation season or the time we give away money or laptops is right now in spring as seniors are graduating from school. We get to go on campus and, provide free lunch, and we provide laptops in a typical year, right? In a typical year, this is nirvana for us, because this is where the fruits of our hard work pay off as we send kids off to college. It was a challenge because, I'm a big people person. I'm a hugger. I'm one of those weirdos. And, you get to be on stage with the kids and sorry, give me a second to compose myself.
No, it's understandable. You do so much for the community, and I know how important it is for you and your wife to be giving back to the students, and even your own story. So it's completely understandable. It's an emotional time. Like you said, it's nirvana. We are used to hugging. We're used to being able to see each other. So it's definitely hard.
Yeah, I'm definitely Latino in that sense, man. Anyways. One cool thing that I saw our administrators, these are the greatest people, right? Even pre-COVID, but just now working with them, these are the greatest people. So they thought of like, hey, we're not going to let this stop us. We're going to put something together for the students. And again, these are low-income Latinos from Title I schools like me, right? I grew up in that neighborhood. And they said, hey, let's go virtual. Like we were just talking earlier, right? About the cloud, about Zoom. And I said, holy smokes, you're going to take low income Title I kids and somehow you're going to try to get them into Zoom. And we have problems like this in major corporations, right? I work at Microsoft, and we have issues just getting, our Teams meetings going. I'm like, wow, we're going to do this with hundreds of Title I students. And guess what? It happened. We had hundreds of low, Title I students, deserving students going off to college, log in. Some of them were even logging in from work, like working the drive-through. And we were able to award laptops virtually. That was really cool. I shared a video with the board members here, we were, the administrators, the high school principals, assistant vice principals were going to the students' home from a distance, and awarding these laptops. I think we awarded 20 in total just 2 weeks ago. And so we're trying to roll this out just virtually. We're adapting. It doesn't mean that the students won't be going to college, right? We still have to support them. And so that's what we're doing. We provided these laptops as they plan to go into college in the fall. And now that they have a laptop, which is now more important than ever. We started doing this laptop thing a couple of years ago, and now it's extremely vital because everything's online. So, it's just kind of God's plan in terms of that foresight. So, in the meantime, we hope that we could do something as well, if it's not in person with the board members like we do every year, maybe virtually, as we have donated funds for this year. And we'll continue. Like I said, like I tell everybody, me and my wife want to give every penny away, every single penny till we have nothing left. And we commit that even during this crisis, because what we found is the more we try to give it away, it just keeps coming back, man. And you can't get rid of it. Even in, like I said, this crisis, we're catering to Amazon, the LAPD headquarters, like FatBid Fund. All these great partners that, that trust us during these times. And, just pumped. I'm actually excited, for the business. We're actually looking to open up LA in the next couple of months. Winston Churchill, you guys might know him. He once said, do not waste a good crisis. And we are not going to waste a good crisis. And so obviously there's a lot of opportunity if you're willing to, focus, work hard, and it's cliche, but innovate, right? Box taco lunches. Yeah. What an innovation, right? I feel silly that I didn't do it before. So, just thank you for the time, appreciate the love and support. We still need you guys. Obviously we're open here for walk-ins. We're doing, You know, we have promos on our alcohol. We have promos on our cocktail. Our food is very popular. So please, if you're in the neighborhood, you know, it's right here on the screen. Don't be shy. I'll hook you guys up with a free lunch, right, to show you love. But honestly, need all the support we can get during these trying times. Thank you so much, mi gente. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Hector. Thank you for your leadership and thank you for everything that your business does. We really appreciate it and we're blessed to have you as a member of our chamber. And next on our webinar, we are going to have our questions and answers. However, before we get to the questions and answers, I would just like to invite Elisa to speak a little bit about our membership, our 60-day trial that we're doing right now.
Hi, yeah, just reiterating from last week, we do have our free 60-day trial membership out right now. You essentially get the full benefits of the board. You register through our website, which you can see right there at the bottom, or grhcc.org. We're super excited. All right, are we .com or .org for GRHCC? It's .com.
We have both. It's .com and .org, but grhcc.com is the shorter one.
Okay, so you'll get there faster through grhcc.com to register. And yeah, we're excited. We really want to show you guys the benefits you can get. We get right now. It might not be your most ideal time to sign up, but like Hector was saying, if you want to kind of get focused and work with other members of the community and great members like Hector, you can come together and collaborate. This is a great way to do it. Get in, get to know people, and then hopefully at the end of the 2 months, you'll really see that value come back to you and you'll go ahead and be able to pay it forward and join us for a longer term membership for the GRHCC.
Thank you, Elisa. And for our current members, we will be extending their membership for 2 extra months without any additional fees. So please make sure that you let people know we are going to be putting information out in Spanish and English. We have videos, tutorials on our website, and please reach out to us. If there's a topic that is of interest of you or that you know is in need of the community, please reach out to us and let us know what you would like to hear on Cafecito Wednesdays. And with that, I don't think we have any questions, or does the board have anything else that they would like to say before we log off?
I would just like to thank Hector for being a supporter of our chamber and for all he does for the community. I mean, I think that you know, he's one of the I'm not sure what chamber's unsung heroes, right? That's very low key and always giving back. And I've had the pleasure of meeting you a couple of times. You probably haven't been around the chamber as long as everybody else has, but yeah, man, thanks for everything that you do. I think it's great that you're taking care of our students, our community, our future, and we need more members like you. So, you know, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Gracias.
Thank you, everybody, and make sure to join us next Wednesday for Cafecito Wednesday. Asegúrense que nos acompañen a la misma hora el próximo miércoles para Cafecito con GRHCC. Thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you back next week. Bye, guys.
Bye.